Hey, what's up guys? Quick tutorial. First, you got to remove the wheels. That's the first thing you got to do. After that, these nuts hide behind the hub. You got to pull all 8 of those off. Right there. Use a 21 millimeter and an extension. Works best. Boom, boom, boom. Got them all. Take a little hammer, or preferably a bigger hammer, and use a good sized little tap. Tap it around it. It'll pop off. Take it softly. Set it on the floor. You don't want to dent it up or nothing. And then there's where you'd be setting at this point. Next, turn it. Get the 2 caliper nuts on there. You'll see the one on the bottom, the one on the top. You're going to go ahead and pull both of those off. You'll use a 21 millimeter to remove that. Just straight off the impact gun. Zip some. Boom, boom. Hang the caliper. Hang it up off the side. You don't want that getting in the way. Take the rotor. Set it on the floor. Same thing. Don't drop it. You don't want to bang it. Here's where you are. You're getting close. Alright, next, right here, ABS sensor. You're going to go ahead, loosen that little hex nut right there. I use a T30. I was in a hurry, but T30 works in it perfectly. They're not that tight. You're going to go ahead and use the little, I think that was a 10 millimeter right there. You're going to back that bolt off. You're going to take both of them out right there. That tab, you can just bend it up real quick just to pull it out, or you can spend a few minutes trying to wiggle it out, but you can just bend it up and then down. And then down here on the bottom, the outer tie rods. Just shot right out. But pop that cap off, you're going to be left with a 21 millimeter bolt. Zip that bad boy down. Just take your hammer, hit it hard with a hammer. 1 or 2 hits, boom, boom. Thing's going to just drop just like that. Alright, pull the top side out as well. Push those off to the side. Now take a T25. You're going to pull these 3 little nuts off here. You're going to take these off. Take a little hammer. Just tap it a little bit. Nothing crazy. Just a few little tap, tap, taps. Then you're going to pull it out. That's what you got in your hand. Set it off to the side with everything else over there. Next thing what you're going to do is a pain. But that snap ring in there, you got to do it. It is a pain in the rear. I ended up having to actually take a chisel punch and a hammer and snapping it in half. Once I was able to get it to break off, boom, it moves pretty quick from there. You're going to take those 4 bolts on the back of the hub out. You'll zip those out. Use a 21 millimeter. If you haven't noticed right now, 21 millimeter is pretty common. You're going to pry the hub off. You sit there and wiggle it a few times, a little pry bar, it comes right out. Set it off to the side as well. Set it down with all your other stuff. Here's where we're at. Pull those axles straight through. If you have to, you can tap them with a hammer from the back side. But you do it softly. You can pull it out, clean these seals off, and you can reuse them. Next, you're going to go ahead and snip that cotter pin, spin that bolt off. Use a 1 1/8 inch socket on it. You're going to leave it left on the top though. You don't want to take it all the way off. Leave a few threads on the top. Then you're going to go ahead and loosen the bottom one with a 1 5/16. You're getting pretty close. You tap it a few times with the hard, heavy hammer again. Bang, bang, bang. Once you hit the top, once you hit the bottom, thing's just going to basically drop. This is why you're going to want to go ahead and leave a few on the top. You leave that nut on the top right there, it's going to keep it from dropping down and breaking your toes. Take that nut off, take the knuckle, take it over to a vise. In the meantime, you're going to take this alignment bushing. Trick here, use an air hammer. So easy. Take it under there, angle it, chisel it. Once you get it popped out, sometimes it comes out real easy, sometimes it gets stuck. You get it, so not a big deal. Pull it out. There you be. I take it over to the wire wheel real quick and get a lot of that rust, loose stuff off of there. So just zip it around a few times, polish it off, make it look nice and neat. Same thing, go back over to the spindle, the knuckle, whatever you want to call it, hub, I don't care. But anyways, you're going to want to clean that up. So pretty. Now, back over to your table. You're going to take that bottom snap ring off the lower end. Could have taken it over to the vise, to the press, and pressed the heck out of it, but air hammer knocked it out in less than 20 seconds. Both of them gone. Polish all 4 of them back out again. Want them all nice and clean. Same thing with the center where that axle goes through. You get all of those polished out. Now, get your new ball joints. Now, you will go over to the press. So, got the knuckle there. Got all the ball joints. Got all my different attachments and get it all set up. You want to put the lower one in first. You want to make sure you use a little dish or whatever in the bottom because it actually will go through the bottom and extend a little bit out as well because you're going to put that snap ring back on there. So just keep pushing it, pushing it, pushing it. That press will get it going. But you'll notice once you get to a certain point, you'll realize it's not going no more, and all of a sudden it almost doesn't want to pump anymore. Once you get to that, you know you've been there. Go ahead, you release it. Let everything back up. Disassemble it all. Now you do the top one. Same thing. Just push it on down. This one there is no snap ring, but again, just push it all the way down until it doesn't want to press no more. And at that point, you'll do the same thing. You'll go ahead and release it. See, it's getting close. It's going. It's going. If you notice, all of a sudden it seizes. Okay, so at that point, you loosen it. There we go. Nice and easy. I mean, get creative. Use what you got laying around there. But at this point, put the snap ring back on. There you go. You're halfway done. Get your Zerks in there. Grease them up. Get them all full of grease. Put the knuckle back on. Make sure you got a nut handy because as soon as you get it on, you want to strap that bolt on real quick. Then on the top, you're going to take that alignment bushing again. So just, get a little hammer. Just barely tap it. It'll go in pretty easy now, but just tap it down. Tighten both of them up. Go just as tight as you can go. Then once you got it as tight as you can go, take your hammer, smack it really hard again. Smack it up with those ball joints. What that's going to do is it's going to kind of free them up a little bit. And then you're going to snug them back, put your cotter pins, and now boom, slide your axle through. Now get your hub, slide the hub back on. Put your forward bolts back on. Use that 21. It's your friend. So is that hammer. Now snap ring, get the new snap rings put back in. I've got those laying around. Parts store would have them, but ABS, get it put back in. Make sure you push that little tab back down. Do not forget that tab. Put your hub back in, 3 bolts. Caliper back on. You might have to compress it a little bit to get the pads over, but usually it slides on pretty easy. Get your 2 caliper bracket bolts back on, again with that 21 millimeter. Run around them 8 bolts. Zip, 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 zip. Put your wheel back on and back that bad boy up. Don't forget your simulator. All right, y'all.